Visit licensure-exams.com and try our samples completely free of charge.
Hi there, everybody out there. It's good to be with you if you're driving to your next appointment, sitting as your desk at home, or just taking a sushi break at Publix. This engaging podcast wouldn't be possible without Eric at Licensure Exams, and we're thrilled to have him as our speaker today.
Thanks, Stacy, and welcome to another Licensure Exams podcast. It's a joy to have all of you join me as we work together to pass your licensing exam. Today, we're going to explore symbolic experimental therapy, its techniques, and what you need to know about how it's employed in therapy. Symbolic experiential therapy is a dynamic and innovative approach to family therapy that emphasizes authentic encounters, emotional expression, and the use of metaphor and symbolism to create meaningful change within a family system. Founded by Carl Whitaker, this model emphasizes the importance of your own presence, emotional honesty, and willingness to engage with the family system as an active participant, rather than a distant expert. It's less about intervening with strict techniques and more about fostering emotional experiences that disrupt rigid patterns and promote growth. At its core, symbolic experiential therapy is grounded in the belief that family problems are maintained by a lack of flexibility, emotional suppression, and an overemphasis on rational problem solving. Instead of focusing solely on logic and problem identification, you aim to tap into the emotional and symbolic layers underpinning a client's relational dynamics. The experience of therapy itself is viewed as a symbolic journey, one where your authenticity and spontaneity can catalyze transformation within the family. To use symbolic experiential therapy effectively, begin by establishing yourself as both an engaged participant and a respectful challenger. Within the family system, prioritize building an alliance with the entire family by entering sessions with openness, humor, and creativity. You seek to disrupt typical patterns, inviting family members to experiment with new ways of relating and fostering an environment where suppressed feelings can emerge safely. The steps or phases of symbolic experiential therapy are not rigidly defined, as the model values spontaneity and responsiveness. However, for the purposes of structure, especially when preparing for exams, it's helpful to understand several core phases or elements that are present throughout the process. The first phase involves engaging the family and establishing a secure therapeutic context. At this point, focus on joining the family, creating rapport, and demonstrating your willingness to authentically encounter their world. For example, you might use humor or share personal reactions to break the ice, signaling that therapy isn't just another formal meeting. Next, you help the family externalize and clarify the presenting problem, while also inviting exploration of underlying emotions, metaphors, and symbols. You might notice that a client describes a spouse as a brick wall, and rather than analyzing the statement, you playfully explore what it's like to live with that wall. In doing so, you bring subconscious metaphors to the surface, making unspoken dynamics visible. Another key phase involves disrupting the status quo. You introduce interventions that challenge the family's habitual roles and communication patterns, perhaps through unpredictable questions, storytelling, paradox, or even dramatic enactment. For instance, if a family repeatedly blames a single member for all issues, you may amplify this blame in the session so its dysfunction becomes obvious, encouraging the family to recognize and abandon this pattern. Throughout therapy, you model emotional honesty and encourage family members to experiment with more flexible, effective communication. You invite risk-taking, iteration, and creative expression. If a client fears expressing anger, you validate and even dramatize that feeling, showing that there is space for all emotions within the family system. The growth phase focuses on helping the family recognize new possibilities and accept a broader range of lived experiences. You'll witness shifts as family members become less defensive, more open, and capable of greater intimacy. The process concludes when the family demonstrates increased adaptability, authentic emotional expression, and a willingness to approach future challenges with creativity and resilience. Key points for your licensing exam include knowing that symbolic experiential therapy is systemic, meaning you attend to interactions and process, not just individuals. Your methods are experiential in nature, utilizing symbols, emotions, metaphors, and immediate family engagement as core instruments for change. As you work with families, you model authenticity, create a context for emotional risk, and challenge their rigidity. The focus is on process over content, and personal engagement takes precedence over protocol. In summary, when using symbolic experiential therapy, remember to approach the family with genuine presence, lean into metaphor and symbols, and catalyze change through emotional experience rather than advice or analysis. Through spontaneity, creativity, and a willingness to encounter the unknown, you help a client's family move from stuck patterns toward growth and vitality. Well, that's all you need to know about symbolic experiential therapy. Thanks for joining me today, and continue to study for your licensing exam, even if it's just listening to a podcast or explaining to a friend about what you learned. That will cement the key concepts in your mind and keep those neurons firing. And always remember, it's in there. You can do it.